internet is so full of videos about the mistakes that self-taught developers make or the mistakes that beginners make, but do we think that experienced developers are without fault? In this video, I'm going to be spilling the beans about the mistakes that you make when you are an experienced developer. These mistakes are possible when you're good at what you do and when you care a lot about your product. So let's get into it. We're going to start with the mistake that I regret making the most. And the last one would be the most interesting because people are very aware of half of it, but they tend to make the second half of that mistake. The first thing that I was most definitely guilty of, and I do regret it a lot, is making excuses instead of providing opportunities. This is something that's very easy to do because when you've been working in the field for quite some time, you know how things can go wrong. So when somebody comes to you with the new feature, you immediately go to this prevention mode and you think that, oh no, from the security perspective, it's a big risk and it's going to complicate the maintenance of the software and it's just not going to work with the current stack of technologies. You're just basically saying no to your product. It's not possible. It's going to take ages. And it doesn't make people feel good. It's not productive. And I am so guilty of it. Instead of giving these excuses why things will not work, what we can do is we can talk to our products or stakeholders or whoever is coming to us with the feature and try to understand, why do we need this feature? What is motivating them to add it? What are the workarounds? What are the trade-offs? Maybe this is such a great feature that it's worth complicated maintenance. Maybe it's such a great feature that it's worth investing more into the security. Instead of providing excuses why things will not work, we should work together with our stakeholders and try to make it happen one way or another. I think this is the most important change that I'm trying to implement in my career going forward. All right, the second thing I fully blame my perfectionism for. Sometimes I'm just delaying showing stuff to somebody because I think I'm not good enough. And this can get very ridiculous with me sitting with a feature that's already implemented, with a pull request that is already drafted, and I'm just not sure that I should open the pull request for review because I don't know if it's good enough. I don't want to waste time of other people that's gonna review it. It can get pretty ridiculous for me. And don't even get me started with pair programming. I don't think I've ever felt good enough when starting to pair program with somebody and I immediately forget how to type. The third thing that I tend to make is to implement a lot of things myself. And I'm not even talking about overengineering. I'm mostly talking about making some very nice, very on point, very great implementation using all of the computer science knowledge that I have. Not just that, it has to be maintained by some very tired, very burned out enterprise developer who just wants to fix the bug and go home. No judgment there. By saying this, I meant me on a worse day. I'm not saying that you have to use libraries for everything. In fact, I actually have a video about the crazy addiction to libraries and the overuse of them on the channel. Check it out if you haven't seen it before. I'm just saying there should be a balance. Just because I can implement something and in my head I can implement it better than some existing library really doesn't mean I should. The fourth point would be to make a lot of assumptions and to not get deep inside the feature you're making. And by that, I mean not showing the early demo to your stakeholders, not discussing the edge cases, and overall just diving into a problem without fully understanding it first. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that you have to know everything from the get-go. Sometimes you start working on a feature and then you get a list of questions. But the mistake here would be to continue working without actually addressing all of the features with your products or stakeholders. This is luckily the mistake that I'm not making very often, but I constantly see people making assumptions for business cases where we really shouldn't. I mean, I hate meetings as much as the other gal, person. What are we using right now? Anyway, but sometimes a few hours of discussions will save you weeks and weeks of work, and we really should catch this opportunity to turn meetings into something useful. And the last mistake on the list will start very familiar. You've often heard how you should come up with some time and then multiply it by 3, and then you get a somewhat decent estimation. There is another side to that coin. Sometimes we cannot estimate the task properly and we think that it's gonna get done quicker, but sometimes we overestimate something. There were occasions in my life when I thought that the task would take 2 or 3 days of focused work, so I definitely cannot start on it because I don't have that kind of time at the moment. But in reality, the task only took 5 minutes and I was feeling very underwhelmed. It's not that common to overestimate the task as it is to underestimate the task, but it does happen. I guess it makes sense to try to fix the problem for 15 to 20 minutes before making any time estimations. I don't think it's something that's going to work in all of the cases, so this is just something we have to keep in mind, that underestimation is also a thing. That was my list of 5 mistakes that experienced engineers make. I hope you found something useful for yourself. Maybe you felt better because you don't make these mistakes, and in that case, wow, and I want to work with you. But I hope it was useful, and I'll see you in the next video.